Welcome back to 7th Grade Mustache. On today's episode, we'll be speaking about snake oil wellness. There are really two types of people that seek out ways to maintain a healthy lifestyle. That person that has had a health scare and the person that enjoys the feeling of optimal health. Let's examine this as a financial metaphor. The early in life that you learn consistent habits on saving and spending money, the less chaotic your life will be in the years to follow. The same is true for health and fitness. Basic fitness habits in early life will prevent poor health in the decades to follow. Your bullshit meter is something that requires regular maintenance and calibration. The most savvy people can spot a financial scam right away. Yet that same financially shrewd person will spend thousands of dollars on fitness and wellness scams because they're desperate to maintain optimum health.
There's nothing worse when you got kids and say your kid is sick or injured, and then you take them to the doctor, and after that third or fourth visit, the kid's better, but they keep telling you, hey, you got to keep giving him eye drops. And then you're like, okay, is he hustling me? But just the thought of your kid's health.
See, that's a soft spot for a lot of things. Another example of a soft spot is pets. And the veterinarian will fleece you for so much money. Don't go to one of these high-end veterinarians that does surgeries on animals. Oh, buddy, they will try and get you hook, line, and sinker for as much money as they can.
How about when your vet says $4,000 or $5,000 with a straight face?
They said that to me. No, I love this animal, but I'm not going to spend that kind of money on this animal.
If I had $100,000, maybe I would. I ain't gonna front.
No. Listen to me. To somebody who does not make a lot of money, that is not feasible, okay? They inflate those prices so much for a multitude of reasons.
Because they can.
Because they can, and because they know they're hitting you in a soft spot. They know that you're vulnerable. The first wellness scam that I remember was Coral Calcium. It began as a series of infomercials that would be broadcast on basic cable, late night hours, and Sunday afternoons. The commercial made claims of life extension and improved health from taking calcium capsules, supposedly derived from Okinawan ocean coral beds.
I ain't never heard that.
Red flag. They cited coral calcium as the reason why Okinawan people live long lives, not the fact that they eat mostly seafood and live highly active and physical lifestyles. These are people who are up before the sun and don't stay up all night. They have very, very rigorous and physical lives where they are working all the time and they're using their bodies. So they're moving all the time. They live into their 80s and 90s. Of course, some of these old people who are 100 plus were born in a time where there were no birth certificates. When you're dealing with a person who doesn't have a birth certificate and their faculties may be failing, they don't even know what fucking decade they're in. Now, that does not mean there are people who live beyond 100 and they can't keep it together. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that the math doesn't always line up because they don't have the receipts to prove their actual birth.
Even with that situation, the part that you pointed out, they had rugged, strong lives. These motherfuckers that went through like 2 nuclear bombs and everything else, these motherfuckers are solid, and so one thing added to your diet is not going to give you a lifetime of hard work and good health. You dig what there was layers to this shit. Now, I'm not saying that some things won't make a difference. I'm just saying that I ain't never heard of them.
Coral calcium.
I shouldn't laugh because there are good things out there that really do make a difference. I just hadn't heard this one.
I always used to read muscle and fitness magazines, right? Because I was always learning about different supplements and different types of exercises and stuff like that back in the day. And they would have these pills that would tan people. And I'm like, you're taking a pill and it tans you, huh? That's very interesting.
Shit, that don't sound good.
That wasn't good because it didn't last for a long time. It was probably in the magazine for about a year until they started getting lawsuits from people who were going blind because whatever chemical they had in there was crystallizing in the iris of the eye.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So that didn't last too fucking long.
I'm not laughing at nobody's misfortune. I'm just laughing because it's just funny. Like you feel for that one?
The next one that I learned about was the Hunza people of Pakistan and
Yeah.
colloidal minerals. I took
Okay.
colloidal minerals for a short while and stopped when I saw that I got the same results from taking vitamin B complex on a regular basis. The story was these people who live in this rugged, mountainous region of Pakistan live close to 120 years old on a
Yeah.
regular basis. Again, you motherfuckers don't have the receipts to prove any of this. Most of these people can't even read and write. But you gonna tell me what year it is, homeboy? Nah, dog. Again, respect for living that long, but don't nobody know that shit.
I know one of the things with the Hunza people, they're the ones with the apricot pit. They were known for living a very long
Okay,
time and
but
not having.
that's legit. That's something that you can use in other cultures. They're not the only people because apricots grow all over the world.
You said you got the same thing from taking vitamin B12. I dig it.
B complex.
B complex, excuse me.
Okay, another one is She Legit. Now,
Mm-hmm.
She Legit, I've taken it.
I
And
feel it every time.
it gives you a little slight, little tiny boost. It's not exaggerated, but it just gives you like a little slight edge. It's cool. It doesn't turn you into some like bedroom virtuoso like they say it does.
It clears your head, and you can work longer. And if I'm on She Legit, I can work a good hour and a half longer, maybe 2 hours longer than I normally could. If you're like doing hard labor, it makes a difference. I'm being real with it. You know, if you're sleepy, take some She Legit. You'll be woken up clear. Don't need no
The
more.
only problem with these supplements is they're not regulated. And sometimes you're getting the real thing and sometimes you're not. You have no way of knowing the source. You have no way of knowing if it's standardized without a lab test. You just don't know this shit. The reason why I say that is because don't come to depend on that. Because you might start off with the real and wind up with some bullshit and you think it's working because the placebo effect has got you going.
Okay, a lot of these supplements on Amazon are fake. I'm not talking about the fake supplements. I'm talking about you order like a name brand supplement. The guy that owned the company, he said, that looks like my supplement, but if I look at the back, he saw something on the back. He said, I don't use that ingredient. Everything looked the same. And so they went ahead and broke down it. They took it to the lab. It was not his stuff. It was not what he said it was. There's a lot of fake stuff out there. We don't care about the FDA. We don't trust them. But when you say regulated, what you're saying is, I want the same amount, the same quality when I buy that. And you don't always get that. And I get
Don't
that. I
fucking
understand
lie to me.
at all. And I can't judge the results if I ain't got the right shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you can buy, it can say whatever the fuck. It can say goat piss on the outside, but you don't know what's in there. So that's what the big issue is.
My problem with a lot of this shit is that if it's coming from overseas, dude, good luck. Because there's probably going to be some bullshit. I'll tell you a story. There are people who will go to India, people will go to Morocco to buy hash. Hash is a concentrate of marijuana. It's made from the THC crystals. And it's a dark color or it could be a light color depending on the quality of it, okay? And how well it was sifted. What they were doing is cutting it with fucking manure.
Oh.
Right. So you might be getting some fucking cow dookie mixed with some fucking weed crystals. And you think, oh, wow, this is the best. Motherfucker, you're smoking dookie. They got you. You know what I'm saying? And that's why that little example right there shows that if they will sell you dookie mixed with weed, what the fuck do you think they're going to do with some bullshit ass supplement that they're not seeing you face to face with online and they're willing to sell you? It could be anything. And this is not isolated to foreigners because people that have weed farms are just as unscrupulous. They will spray it with all types of fucking chemicals. And then down the line, people start getting sick because when you get it concentrated, you've taken that chemical that was in trace amounts in the flower, and then they take it through a procedure where they turn it into a concentrate, and you're doing exactly that. You're concentrating those pesticides, and then people getting sick because they're smoking pesticide. So it doesn't matter if it's a foreign country. It's motherfuckers in America that will do you dirty.
I think the big issue with that is that there are people that smoke weed because, Friday, weed is from the earth. It's natural.
No.
As natural.
Okay. I'm not talking about shit that's homegrown. People want to believe that they can go and buy some weed and it's okay.
Exactly. You know where I was going with this.
Right. But I have seen questionable ass street weed. I completely stopped smoking street weed. Like once dispensaries became available, I do not smoke street weed anymore. No more. Now, then it comes down to, okay, I got to figure out what farm is this coming from. Then I got to go online and see if there's any chatter about these guys doing some questionable shit. I was fortunate to learn martial arts at an early age and learn about the history and culture of those countries that these fighting arts came from. That lived experience helped me to call out some McDojo bullshit when it appeared. Ever since I was a child, I did not want something that was secondhand. I did not want anything to be between the source and what I was getting. Now, of course, you can say, oh, well, the Asian guy did it. Well, you know what? I had to find it out for myself whether or not it was. But I had to get to as close to the source as possible. And I did. I got so close to the fucking source that I wound up 2 people away from Bruce Lee. That was pretty useful in my discernment in finding the most useful path to the truth in martial arts. But many of you have seen this McDojo bullshit on social media. You see some guy, trying some no-touch martial art thing. And dude, that shit will only work if a person is sitting perfectly still and almost about to go to sleep. That shit does not work in the heat of combat when everything is flying and the energy is spinning around in every direction and anything can fucking happen. That shit does not work. And man, I had hood motherfuckers come at me talking about they know death touch. I'm like, bruh, you need to get out of here with that because I will poxile the shit out of you. Get the fuck out of my face with that. The whole thing about all this, what I'm saying is that discernment is needed when it comes to health and wellness. The same way that you don't want to buy shit coins and you want to avoid financial scams, you have to avoid these health and wellness related scams because they are out there and the people that will try to scam you are a dime a dozen. And social media has quadrupled that amount of people. It has brought them straight to you. They haven't changed. They're the same fucking people. There was some dude, he posted this thing recently and it was just his daily routine. And he's getting up, takes a shower, jumps in the pool, eats some avocado toast and some other shit and all this bullshit. And when he goes to jump in the pool, I freeze frame it. He looks awkward when he's diving into the pool. Well, you have bad form. Your diving form is shit. Why should I listen to you when you're cutting corners in the basics, in the fundamentals? So when I train with people, I'm looking at their fundamentals because in martial arts, it's a language. And when you learn your forms, in karate, they call it kata, your forms, okay? And in kung fu, you have the forms, but you have these variations on the forms. And when you see people that are cutting these corners, you look at them and say, oh, you would be a lot better if you could calm down and stop being impatient because you have power, you have speed, but your delivery is fucked up. And I see that over and over and over and over again.
So people want to get rich quick scheme, but they want it with health also. They don't want to take the time. Back in the day, me and you used to always talk about mixed martial arts. You talk about GSP, that dude has 7 different belts. But now you got mixed martial arts, which is actual martial art now. People want the quick way. They don't want to put the work in. They want to feel better about themselves. They want to go to heaven, without praying. They just want, hey, man, shit, I did.
We had this conversation not long ago about traditional martial arts schools versus MMA gyms or an MMA gym that teaches a martial art. So you started to see this in the mid-90s. In the mid-90s, you started to see all these schools that had one style of martial art. They would add instructors of different styles to come and teach at these schools because in the martial arts school business, it's all about money. 100%. Like, don't let anybody tell you that you have to pay that rent and you have to grow it or at least maintain it. 100% you have to make a living. And my teacher struggled. He struggled. Like, I saw him working a regular ass job, but what he taught me is priceless because the men that taught him were dedicated to passing on this tradition. And you could see with what he was teaching me He wanted me to be effective so that if I taught somebody, I would carry on this lineage of keeping the tradition intact. So that when I do teach it, I'm teaching it the way that it was taught to me, because when Ip Man taught it to him, or, the Moyat taught it to him, they were transmitting something that was 1,000 years old, even older than that. Anyway, these things are important. So that's why I focus on these things, because in the end, it improves the quality of what it is you're involved in. It doesn't matter what it is. But another thing that I saw that was a scam is CrossFit. CrossFit was started by a guy who's not in shape, who doesn't even do it himself. It's crazy. Like, if you look at the guy who started CrossFit, he's a fat slob. So hold on a second. You're the dude? You're the dude that got all these people running up and down the street, run up and down Santa Monica Boulevard at 7 o'clock in the morning, rolling a tire up and down the alleyway. You know what I mean? And hitting the tire with a sledgehammer. And the type of work I do is very physical. It's very physical. And, my customers, sometimes they remark, them like, man, you get a workout every day. And I'm like, yes, I do. Yes. Every day it's a workout. Every single day. Now, I still go to the gym and I still work out because I want to have the baseline of optimal fitness on top of what the job is doing. Because the job just tears your body up, But if you got that baseline of regular strength underneath, then you're okay. But this goes back to what I was saying about starting these habits early in life. Because when you get used to being uncomfortable and you start to do all these things that would make most people uncomfortable physically, and you do it for quite a while, then there's nothing really that you can't do. And I'm talking about on a psychological level. People always talk about these special forces people and the type of training that they have. That training that they have is probably the most difficult part physically of their job, because once they get out of that, the stuff that they're required to do isn't really that bad. They're trying to, they want to run people through a gauntlet, and they want to eliminate the weakest people.
They want to make you ready for what you're going to encounter, but you don't know what that's going to be. So you train everything, endurance, all that stuff. They want some badasses out there. They don't want a motherfucker to stub their toe or get a hangnail and stop. I think that's the whole problem with the situation. When we were kids, we grew up watching certain kind of movies and stuff, and we wanted to be Bruce Lee. We wanted to fight 15 guys. We wanted to be able to run, a 6-minute mile. We wanted all that stuff. Now, motherfuckers don't want shit anymore.
When I was in 7th grade, a 6-minute mile seemed fucking impossible. Like, I remember that shit.
Until you broke it.
Like, I remember that shit. I was like, what? What the fuck? No.
And what the hell you people do? But yeah, I remember the two people that beat me when I finally, we was in gym class. I can say, that Nate Gilpin and Jeremy Hatfield. But they was only, but I got like 640, 647 or so. I'm like, yes. How do you do it?
Yeah, it was crazy though. It was like neither one of those motherfuckers went on to be like any type of, fitness dynamo.
Oh, Hatfield, no. Nate, I think last thing I heard was years ago, like he was like a park ranger or someplace in Yellowstone.
Oh, good for him.
Hold it, I don't know. That was the rumor, but yeah, he was native. He was doing what he was born to do.
Yeah, no, good for him, man. That's fucking dope. Yeah, okay. I'm happy to hear that. In what state did he do that, or is he doing that?
See, I heard Yellowstone, so what? Yellowstone is Utah, Colorado, some area like that. I don't know.
No, it's closer to Montana, the Montana border.
I know at one point they got that one spot where there are 4 states and they connect together. Well, one of them joints, but like I said, that motherfucker, yeah, if it was endurance running.
No, but he was a swimmer, though, also. That's why he had to fucking win.
Yeah. Yep.
And he would put his face paint on. See, this is actually some cool shit. I don't know if any of you guys went to school with Native American people of any specific tribe, but Nate and his sister were swimmers, and they would put their war paint on before they had a match or a competition. I thought that was pretty fucking cool, and the school let them do it too.
Shit, that shit's intimidating. Like when you see this shit on TV, you're gonna laugh, but when you're actually like up against somebody, like this motherfucker he didn't come to play.
No, but he was always like a pretty cool guy, though. He was always
he was.
mellow.
Yeah. Look, what we're saying when it comes to this health thing, I think people try to take a shortcut, and there are some things in this life where there are no shortcuts. They don't exist. I mean, you can take with some steroids, but even then, ain't no guarantee. Like whenever you watch Major League Baseball, you don't hear about it as much now, but back in the day, everybody was on steroids, and so you had certain people that blew up, but then you had like I think it was Giambi. He was like, man, I was on steroids. Shit didn't work for me. So it's just funny. He's like, look, I'm not snitching on nobody. I'm not coming out, but I'm just trying to tell you, I took steroids, and he was talking about how it didn't work for him. It didn't work for the pitchers.
We know a guy who took steroids for football in high school, and it didn't fucking work.
Yeah, steroids. See, that's the point I'm trying to make. Steroids ain't this guaranteed. You had to have talent, skill, you had to have something there to begin with. It's like when people say, I made a deal with the devil. Look, the devil don't want trash. There's certain motherfuckers that can't make a deal because the devil like, I don't want this motherfucker. Look, you got to have something to begin with. So if you're dealing with steroids or any of that shit, you got to have a base for it. There's got to be something there. And I think that's the biggest issue that nobody wants to admit. Is a lot of people ain't born with shit. You got to either acquire it by hard work or, you get lucky or whatever. But yeah, not everybody built for that shit.
So another part of this fitness awareness and savvy is being aware of the world that we occupy. And in that world, there is lots of electromagnetic frequency radiation. And people tend to show their susceptibility to this in different ways, and one of which is anxiety.
Yes.
When you surround yourself with a lot of electronics, there are signals that your body is giving you saying, I don't fucking like all this shit.
I ain't digging it.
It's too loud in here. We need to go outside where it's quiet.
Like you ever watch like Ghost Hunters, any of those ghost stories, those ghost shows, and they make a big deal about electromagnetic fields, and they'll come into the house and they'll find like a bunch of wires that ain't properly grounded. And yeah, you feel like somebody's watching you. Yeah, you feel on edge all the time. Yeah, you're eager, but that's because you are surrounding yourself with this radiation that shit ain't healthy. Same thing with power lines. When we were kids, they used to make a big deal about power lines, not being ground like the big power lines, not the little ones by your house, but
the ones that make that crackling noise. You can just
you hear them, but that's just giving off radiation.
Kids, electromagnetic field is being generated by it. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. I mean, 5G towers, your neighbor's Wi-Fi router, EV electric cars, the dirty electricity generated by them, none of them has shielding from EMF. If you turn on your Wi-Fi right now, and if you just turn on the Wi-Fi on your computer and you turn your router off, look at all of the Wi-Fi routers that are around you. There's a bunch of them, and all of them are transmitting. Turn them on, turn the same computer on at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you will see who has turned their router off and who has left that bullshit on.
Running, yep. You're supposed to shut it off at night.
Turn it off at night.
Yeah.
So, okay, when I was a little boy, my father and my mother would go through the house and turn off all the lights and lock the doors and made everybody get into bed.
Had a whole routine.
That's living in my house. That was the regular, normal shit. There was none of that. There was no free agent bullshit. You just did what the fuck you were told, and you took your ass to bed, or you took your ass to live somewhere else if you feel like you was too grown for that bullshit.
No, what it is your parents had to make sure you were safe. So the house is locked up. I know where you are. That's all it was. And people don't get that. I can't protect you if I don't know what the fuck you doing. And so that's how they protected you. Doors locked. This place opens back up at 7 a.m.
But I could hear when the TV was on.
Oh, yeah.
That 60 cycle hum, that really high pitch. You can tell. You can tell when somebody is watching the TV. You know.
Remember, we were kids. You could hear the lights at school when we were in grade school. You can hear the hum of the lights.
Oh yeah, that's the ballast from the fluorescent bulbs. Yeah.
But yeah, trust me, I'm sure a lot of us are got fucking lumps in our throat right now from that shit because the radiation. Look, I told you about this. I just had a conversation. I had a medical kung fu battle with somebody, and I was afraid to talk about it on the air because I don't want us to get medical misinformation. But I've talked about my battle with cancer. So I'm at the Amazon store, and Roscoe will tell you, I'll get my supplements from there because it's cheaper. I'm getting stuff from there. So
there's your pharmacy. We got it, motherfucker.
Yeah, but I was there. I've been looking for castor oil. They haven't had it in months, and I'm running out of castor oil. I bought a bunch last time. So I'm like looking and looking. I found some neem oil. Well, there's I don't want to just call him a white guy, but there's a white guy. He's looking in the bins also. And I said, hey, I'm looking for castor oil. That stuff is awesome. And he goes, yes, castor oil is a good. It penetrates the deepest. It's a good carrier. I was like, uh-oh, he knows something. So I hit him with I use ginger and castor oil for the inflammation. So he was like, well, what did he bring up? He brought up something else. Then I said, well, look, I was in here and I bought a bunch of fenbendazole because, it's for the cancer. And he said that's what he says. I had cancer. I used ivermectin to take care of my cancer. And that's when I go, well, I had skin cancer. I used apricot pits. And he goes, yeah. He goes, B17. I go, we were just going back and forth.
So basically, like when you watch a kung fu movie and you see two bad motherfuckers approach each other, and it's like, Tiger Claw, Praying Mantis, and they just go back and forth and naming the fucking styles that they're doing. And it's like Leaping Monkey, like
Dragon Tail.
That's what that was.
And so we was going back and forth, not in a negative way, but you can tell he was happy to hear somebody talk in that manner and understand that. And I was happy to see, like, okay, because I've had conversations with people about cancer, and you just hear so many of them say chemo, so many of them say this other stuff, and you're like, man, well, like when people have cancer and they do the biopsy. Do you know the biopsy will spread the cancer? The test that they're giving you to see if you got cancer will make your cancer worse. So to have a conversation like that, here's what he hit me with that I didn't know. Because I told him I just ate the apricot pits. He said you can eat up to 9 apricot pits a day and not get sick. He said more than that, they said allegedly the cyanide will get to you. I'm like, oh, I did not know that. So that's one to grow on.
And you grind them up in a blender and you put them in a drink. What do you do?
Okay, so I do both. I use a coffee grinder. It gets them real fine, and then I'll just mix it with my tea, or I'll just crunch on a couple of them. I can do 2 or 3. Like I said, after 3, I can't take after more than 3. It's too powerful. It just tastes terrible.
Is it bitter?
It's bitter, but it puts you in the mind. You know how when you first cut your glass, that lawn smell. It's like you can taste. You can taste it. Like,
the chlorophyll.
Yeah, it's chlorophyll and bitter. It's sweet on the back end of it, but it's not a big enough reward for you to eat more than 3. So
you should just grind it up and just put it in capsules and just take like 3 capsules.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, I could do that.
Yeah.
But real talk, y'all look it up.
But take it with food though, so that way it's digested easier. Because the only problem is that fine powder by itself in your intestines may cause irritation in your intestines.
Yep. Like I said, I what I did was I mostly just crunched them up, and I'm just being honest with you. I just chewed them up. It was terrible, and He said, you can't, he was like, yeah, you can't take more than 9. Like, motherfucker, I can't get past 4. Who the fuck is taking 9? What the fuck kind of shit you got going on? But yeah, that's real talk. I
9.
think
What does this motherfucker look like? He must look like a straight weirdo.
He's eating like popcorn. He got just handfuls of them. But
looking like fucking Homer Simpson.
Oh, apricot pits. But no, like he said ivermectin. He said that he took ivermectin to take care of that situation. So,
cancer clusters are found near cell towers.
Oh,
Microwave radiation damages DNA and chromosome structures. It shuts down the body's repair mechanisms. It lowers libido and creates infertility in both male and females. Sperm count in adult men has dropped 50% in all developed countries. This goes back to why I was saying you need to touch grass as much as possible.
Walk barefooted, hug a tree.
And even if you're not into, grounding, just go for a walk in a place where there are no cell towers. Go get in your car and drive to a state park and just do what the Japanese call forest bathing. Go and walk in the forest. Leave your fucking phone in the car. Leave the phone in the car. Leave your electronic leash in the car.
Well,
just go be peaceful and quiet. And what you're going to notice is that your thoughts change. This is what I noticed. My thoughts change. Like when I get out in the woods and I'm away from a phone, I'm away from everything, my thoughts change. I start to think about all these possibilities and I become way more optimistic.
Something you said about 4 weeks ago. I was like, hey, be safe. You're like, man, fuck safety.
Yeah.
what you were saying is,
bitch ass.
Like, bitch ass nigga, what the fuck you mean? No. But that's how they get you. That's how they tether you with the cell phone. That's how they tether you with the GPS. They're like, oh, something might happen to you. You might need it. And something might not happen. And something does
start telling people be adventurous.
Yeah.
Hey,
take a chance,
be adventurous.
Shit. Look before you leap. Jump. But what it is that they get you with that. And that goes back to the same thing we were just talking about with our pets and our kids. If people will milk you of money because they're like, hey, and you don't want your kid to get cancer, get them a shot. I'm like, but if you look at it, kids that get shots have a much higher chance of getting big C. So what we're trying to say is that sometimes if you got to leave your phone at the house, don't be afraid. Leave it in the car, whatever, and walk away from it. Hopefully the werewolf don't get you. Hopefully the dog man don't get you. Hopefully, but you kind of got to leave that behind you. But that's how they sell it to you, that it's safe. That's how they sell it to you, that, hey, you need to register your car with this. You need to register your laptop with that.
Okay, let's talk about the concentration of these signals. When you are at home, the concentration is low compared to when you go into a city center.
Public.
When you go into a skyscraper and there are transmitters on every floor times 10. And then you get out of that building and you get into your car or you get into the subway. It depends. If you're in your car, then it depends on your car. Like if you have one of these cars that there's Wi-Fi and then there's all this satellite radio. Fuck all that shit. You rip it out of your fucking car. You don't fucking need it. Turn it off.
Okay, so check this out. Like,
why you need GPS in your car and you got it on your fucking phone?
Oh no, hold on. I wasn't even going there yet. What I was going to say, you know how like they got like a sex.
That's a scam.
No. Check this out. So there's a sex offender app, and you'll turn it on, and you'll see all the sex offenders in your area. Well, they got the same thing for EMF. Like there's an app for an EMF detector, and there's an app for like cell phone towers. And if you download that app and you look at it, that shit will freak you the fuck out when you see how many cell phone towers.
It's just all red, like in some places.
It shows you they're all around you, but then you'll check your EMF detector. That shit is pinging the whole, like just going up, and you're like, damn, I'm outside. I'm not even close to, you think.
When is the last time you were in a place and you didn't have cell phone reception and it didn't bother you?
It don't bother me at all. If I don't have cell phone, the only time if I'm on call for work, like, hey, I gotta
That's
take
what
a
I'm
call.
saying. When you have to make a phone call and it's important, then you
That's,
need it.
but
But if
yeah,
it's a
but
situation where you detach from all that and you don't have reception,
it don't bug me.
yeah. I
No,
mean, have you ever just like saw that and be like, oh, okay, whatever?
okay, whatever. Look, how about this? The only way I find out, you'd be like, hey, cuz I called you 3 times. Like, oh, my shit must have been important. Like, hey, it just went to voicemail. I didn't have cell phone reception. I was out there fishing. I was, I was as local chairman. I was in the train yard, far away from everything. So, it that's how they get you. That's how they sell you because it's in case a water buffalo rapes you, you need cell phone service. Like, nah, man. But that's why we also tell you, you got to be able to defend yourself. This goes back to the healthy living, the martial arts, and all that stuff. We grew up watching, like, I don't like John Wayne's racist piece of shit, but we grew up watching the action hero take on a bunch of guys.
Shaq Burton.
So, and, who said that? Jack Burton. Who's that?
Me.
But that is the mentality that we had, that we would overcome whatever you put in front of us, we would overcome. That idea, I get the participation award thing where, like, hey, we need to be celebrating everybody. I dig that, but at the same time, you also need to be strong, be wise, be vigilant, be all them. Okay, I got to I got to shut this off. I got to turn this on. I got to do. Ain't nobody gonna take care of you but you. And so that's why whenever this new stuff comes up, like he said, health wise, people jump on it because they don't want to put the work in. Well, look. Sometimes the only way to get results is to put the work in, and that's what you have to do. Sometimes you need to shut your cell phone off because clearly it's affecting you. I had a talk with somebody yesterday, and I was happy to see him. I work with the guy, but he bought a dog for me, so we cool. As a union rep, I saved his job a couple times, so we tight, and so. We were talking. And I said, "Hey, well, people don't get." He said, "Are you happy that you're not local chairman anymore?" I'm like, "Look, I haven't had a full check in a long time, but y'all don't understand the anxiety." I said, "I was actively fighting my mental health. I'm actively engaging. I'm fighting depression. I'm fighting anxiety. I'm fighting this." And that's what he said. Oh, he said, "My wife has anxiety." I said, "Yeah." I said, "A lot of people have these situations, and there's nothing wrong with medication, but." I'm like, y'all don't understand that you need to figure out what triggers you. You need to know that you're in a battle. And I think that people don't recognize that they're in a fight sometimes. And when they don't recognize it, they don't defend themselves properly. And I'm like, look, when you sit there and did I brush my teeth today? Next thing you know, you putting something off, it's 4 days later, you ain't brushed your teeth, you ain't washed your ass. That is a sign of depression. But people don't understand that you gotta actually, okay. When you said your parents had a routine at night, that routine is what sometimes pushes you through very difficult times. Having a routine, a healthy routine, having a set of, if I don't do this, I can't go outside. I have to give myself rules. That's called discipline. That's why the martial arts breeds discipline. A lot of people don't have discipline anymore, so they'll sit there. Next thing you know, they're sick in a house by themselves, and hey, I'm suicidal. Maybe, but if you had forced yourself to get up and do what the fuck you needed to do, maybe you wouldn't be in that situation. You got to recognize that you are fighting, you're fighting for your mental health. You're fighting the depression. I'm actively battling this shit. Like, oh, no, I can't, Roscoe, I can't let Roscoe down. When he calls me, he says, it's time for this. And sometimes that you're my excuse for doing what I need to do because I don't want to let you down. I might let myself down, but I'm not going to let you down. That's the shit, you might need. When people say, hey, you work out, you need a workout buddy. That's because sometimes you might not hold yourself accountable. But if there's somebody else around, I'm not going to let them down. And if that's what you need to do, so be it. That's what it is, my nigga. Shit.
5G is the most important part of the Internet of Things. It is sold as a necessary evil for driverless cars, faster internet connectivity, and data collection from appliances. It will bring internet to every inch of planet Earth. Now, just think about that, what that's going to mean. Those are more transmitters, more things that transmit data, that are transmitting this dirty electricity all around you. Now, in the house that I live in, I don't have any smart appliances. I don't have a smart TV. I don't have a smart refrigerator. I don't have a smart washer and dryer or a thermostat. None of that shit. It's the most regular ass, damn near analog version of all that stuff. And that is by design. Because when I come home, I want to relax. I want to decompress and enjoy life. And
You're not thinking about work. I don't even work related shit at my house, motherfucker.
yeah, exactly. Oh, none of the people that I work with know where I live. No, fuck no. No, you don't, man. That's all on purpose. Like, none of those people even know where I live. No, fuck you. Like, we can talk about that shit at work. You know, there's no need to talk about that bullshit here. I don't even want to think about that bullshit here.
Yeah, meet me down the block, three blocks down the street. Don't come to my
A mile away, 5 miles away. But the whole point is that people decompress in different ways. And sometimes, you know, I have inflammation, you know, from all the work that I do and shit and working out and stuff. And I just want to decompress. And so sometimes I'll take CBD, you know, that's good for inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll stop. Then I'll stop off of straight willpower because it's like, you know how to turn this off without anything. You know how to turn this off without any supplement. And I do.
That's discipline, bro.
I learned how to meditate. I learned how to meditate in the mid-90s. And I find that as soon as I go to sit in meditation and I begin to move the energy through my body, what happens is that all of that inflammation just goes away. It goes away because that energy is being circulated from that one spot where all the tension was through the rest of my body. So there's no tightness in my back. There's no tightness in my neck. It all goes away. It all goes away. All the tightness that was in my muscles, it goes away because I willed the energy to move. That is something that I learned how to do to heal myself. And I'm so grateful for that.
You're in control of your own body. That's all it is. And a lot of people, I think people are sometimes trapped in their body.
I used to have a roommate that was a massage therapist. And he was like, "You'll never ask for a massage?" I'm like, "Nah." I was like, first of all, you're a dude, so no. No homo. And then two, I'm connected to my body. He's like, yeah, you're connected to your body because you don't, like he said, most of the people that he would massage, they're not connected to their body.
Mm-mm.
And I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, they live there, but they don't reside there. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so they don't understand that, like, you're supposed to get to know yourself.
They eat in the kitchen, but they don't sleep in the house. It's really weird. Really fucking weird, dude. Oh, here's another thing, man, that people should pay attention to. When you sit in your car, don't have anything in your back pocket. Because if you sit with something in your back pocket and you're sitting on it when you're driving, you're going to start fucking up your posture.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to start fucking up the muscles and the nerves along your spine because you're reshaping the way your body contours to that chair.
Look, I can't even have my wallet in my right pocket, right back pocket. Nope. I'll get numb and yeah.
Oh man, I find all different kind of ways to like carry money and my keys and stuff like that, like cargo pants or like in my jacket. Or, yeah. I got all type of ninja pockets for shit like that. Like, nah, I want it on the front where I can get to it right away. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah. But one thing I've been constantly doing is working to keep the phone away from my body. So I'll put it, you know, in the console or on the seat. You know, if I'm like by myself in the vehicle, I'll put it to the side of me. You know what I'm saying? So that way, you know, like I can always reach over there and pick it up. What you don't want to do is just keep putting it near your crotch. That's not good because that's going to lower your sperm count.
Fuck up the kids.
Not just that, but like your testosterone levels.
Well, see, I didn't know if you wanted to go there or not. So you were talking about.
Oh, real quick, hold on. So the other day, I was taking out the garbage, and I saw one of those Hims bottles on the ground. I just shook my head. I'm like,
But they're making money on that shit. Real talk. Look,
Yeah, one dude's
when you
hair fell out.
no shit, it's supposed they're supposed to be helping with that shit. Um, so I don't even know where to start. But you were talking about how men's sperm counts were going down, testosterone levels are down in all these civilized countries, whatever you want to call it. So they were talking about, well, the feminization of young boys. Like when boys are being born now, the distance between their nutsack and their
The
butthole
taint
is getting,
is the length of
yeah,
the taint.
the length of the taint is getting smaller. That's a real thing, but that's because they're becoming feminized, and that's some environmental shit. That's everything from drinking water out of plastic bottles to what we talk about atrazine being one of the most prevalent things in drinking water. That atrazine will fuck you up. So it's not. We're not talking about just what's the word I'm looking for? It's not just diet. There's some environmental factors, but they got to be on purpose. You know, a guy from the 1950s, that motherfucker was a manly man. Now all of a sudden now everybody's like, oh, let's talk about it. I'm not saying not be mature, but I'm saying that clearly something is affecting us in a negative way, and is attacking people. Is attacking masculinity. There's not much masculinity in the world anymore. Masculinity shouldn't be toxic. Masculinity is strong, protective, wholesome, whatever. But yeah, shit, they ain't making men like they used to. And like you said, the taint is getting smaller. But yeah, that's some real shit. Is environmental stuff. Those phthalates in the plastic bottles, all that shit is affecting us in a negative way.
There is so much in the environment that we are at war with. And I say this all the
Period.
time. We're on war on constant levels, 3 levels simultaneously: mental,
Like I said,
physical, and
battling.
spiritual.
Hmm.
And there's crazy things that are attacking you that you have to be aware of. Don't get anxiety over it. Just be aware that, all right, you need to slip the punch right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got learning how to slip punches is very effective. And you can apply that metaphorically to all the weaponized things, the weaponized technology around you that will harm you long term. And those are punches. So learn how to slip those punches. Learn how to turn your phone off, take the battery out of that phone. Learn how to turn off your Wi-Fi router. Ever since I started turning off that Wi-Fi router, I have been thinking about my parents at night, turning off the lights, locking the doors, making sure the dog is in the backyard, all that shit, right? Because there was a point in my household where there was a lot of activity and then there was no activity.
Yep,
Meaning,
it was off and on
well,
switch.
the time of day, it's like, all right, right before dawn, my father's up, everything's, beginning, and then the house becomes active. And then 10:30, 11 o'clock, everything's quiet. You can
Period.
hear the silence in the house, so it's loud silence.
There was no
That,
question either.
I think, is something people have to get back to, because I think ever since the 24-hour news cycle, the world has been just barreling towards being on all the time. Now,
I,
don't get
I,
me wrong. I live in a 24-hour city. Atlanta, before the pandemic, was truly a 24-hour city. You could
Everybody
go
was.
get Chinese food 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. You can go do laundry at 4 a.m. You can go, get drinks at 4 and 5 a.m. We had Club Anytime, which is open 24 hours a day, pouring drinks. That stopped. So, but the whole thing is that that's electricity that's on. That's signals that are being transmitted. One thing I'll enjoy is turning off the lights at night to go to sleep, because everybody is in the bed.
I think the shutdown part, the 24-hour city. I think when we got to our party stage, and you would go to a party city, that was kind of like your thing. I'm up all night, or we in college, you can be up all night, and so you look for things that were 24 hours. Now it's like, motherfucker, 11 o'clock, I'm knocked out. Fuck this shit. But that was like a badge of honor. Even when we were little kids, you would stay up late on Saturday. I stay up late on Saturday. I call, hey, how late you stay? I was 2 o'clock in the morning. I stayed up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Nigga, what? You know, it was it was a thing. But now I think that we're getting back. Even I just saw a report where they were talking. This chick was talking about having lights on raises your blood sugar. So even having a small light, night light on will fuck with your blood sugar, your resting blood sugar. So they're saying you should sleep in complete darkness. It's better for you. It's better for your circadian rhythms. It's better for all kinds of shit.
I will say, for those of you who can't do that, if you're in a situation where you can't do that, put a blindfold on.
Mm-hmm.
Put a blindfold on and just knock out. Now, some people have like blackout curtains and shit, and those things are great, you know. But for real, like, turn the lights all the way off and be in total darkness, because it does something to the human body to be in total darkness, because that is actually one of the easiest ways to get into the dream state. Now, the dream state is very important for relaxation. I didn't understand many years before, but actually having a dream every night is very healthy. It's very healthy because it means the brain is resting.
Functioning properly.
Mm-hmm. But it means the brain is resting.
That rapid eye movement, the REM sleep.
Yeah.
That's when you're in your sleepy sleep.
Yeah, sleepy sleep. But that's real shit. But you know what? Another thing, though, is really important is exercise, because when you have a really physical day, you telling yourself, man, I want to sleep like a motherfucker tonight. I want to be knocked out. And guess what happens? You get home, you wash your ass, you go to bed, and you are out. Now, there's people who tell me that they cannot sleep more than 3 hours, 4 hours, and I'm like, you need to work harder. You need to push your body harder physically, because once you do that, I think what it is pushing your body physically into a state of discomfort. Because it's one thing to go into workout. That's good. You can have like cycles, weeks of just a regular workout routine, but you have to get off that plateau eventually, because that's a plateau. And you have to add something to your regimen that's difficult. You can go up in weight, you can add a new exercise, but you got to add something in there to where your body says, hold up, motherfucker, what's this? You know what I'm saying?
No, that's serious. Yeah, you have to surprise yourself. Shock your muscles a little bit. Change your routine. Either go longer, lighter, heavier, whatever.
I'm going to tell you some crazy shit. And it's not so crazy, but it works. Dude, go to a park and practice wind sprints.
Oh, yeah.
Just do that and see how fucking slow you've gotten. Listen, it's going to fuck with you at first. But it's like, all right, let me get warmed the fuck up. Let me just hold up. I'm going to warm up. And then once I get warmed up, that fucking sheen is going to come back. You know what I'm saying? Then, all right, cool. I'm slow this time. But the next time, these muscles are going to be warmed the fuck up and ready on the next go round. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right. And then 2 weeks later, all right, let's go again. And then what starts to happen is your reflexes start to improve. And it's like, oh, nigga, I'm back.
There we go.
That's my guy. I'm back. What's up, my guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, yeah. That once you reach that spot where, man, listen, I'm going to tell you a story. So I was riding the bike. I stopped riding the bike for a while. And then I started riding the bike again, like consistently. And one day I get up and I look in the mirror and it shocked me. I was like, I know that fucking guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever look at yourself in the mirror and, like, you know, you're used to seeing yourself every day. And then, like, after, like, going hard for a little while, you look at yourself in the mirror like, oh, what's up, my guy? What's up, dude? You know, so like, where the fuck you been at? Like, that kind of shit. It's like, all right, the killer is still there.
I still got it.
Yeah.
Still got it.
But that's what I'm saying. I was like, you have to get out of that comfort. You got to. You have to push yourself. You will never go to Super Saiyan being comfortable all the time. Bottom line.
Look, like I said, being healthy is an activity. You have to plan, achieve goals, do this, do that, surprise yourself. Yeah, people think being healthy is going to a doctor. Nah, my nigga. You go to a doctor if you break a bone or you get shot. You ain't going to a doctor.
Once they plug you into the wall, motherfucker, it's over.
Yeah. And the next thing you know, like, I don't want to die. I can't tell. Nigga, you did all this shit to put yourself in this situation, nigga. So, yeah, if you don't want to die, then you got to actively fight it, support it, do what you're supposed to do. Look for diet, exercise, turn off the goddamn Wi-Fi, drink water out of a glass or drink water out of a copper cup. You know what I'm saying? Sea salt. Don't do the Himalayan shit because that pink shit got shit in it. There's so much that you can be doing but you gotta seek that information out. You gotta seek that shit. It's not gonna come to you by accident, my nigga.
Here's another thing. Listen to what your body is telling you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Because you get so much biofeedback from just listening to what you're getting. Now, I'm not talking about, I don't want to do this exercise. Don't listen to that motherfucker. I'm not talking about that. Now, pain is the type of signal that says, all right, let me adjust something because maybe I'm not doing something right. Or maybe I need to chill out or take a day off. But
maybe I need to push through. You need to know yourself.
You need to know yourself. You need to know where that level is. And you have to push yourself to know where that boundary is. You know. But it's so important. You know, you gotta go in there with a mission when you work out. You don't go in there and sit down on your phone. Oh, let me see what's on Instagram. Let me look at some asses. No.
Mm-mm.
Your phone should not be in your hand when you're working out. Now,
your phone should not be your motivating factor, my nigga. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, you can be listening to like a podcast or music or something. That's cool. But
people are too busy filming themselves at the gym now. Nigga, what?
Just fucking get to work, man. Like, stop. That's procrastination. Like, just get to work. Like, you won't get to the flow state that way. Like, you don't. How many times have you gone and worked out hard, and then you get that almost like a euphoric feeling afterward? Like, man, this feels good.
That's because you feel like a champion. Like, I won. I don't know what I won, but I won. That's all that is.
You have to push through. But, like, that's the thing, though. You feel as if you've accomplished something.
Mm-hmm.
You've let yourself know that, all right, I put myself into this spot, and then I got myself out by pushing through. There's a saying, the only way out is through. That means that if you want to get out of this situation, you got to push through.
You got to do it. I think that's another thing. People aren't doing shit anymore. And so when it comes time to do something, it's foreign to them. They're like, oh, fuck, I don't want to do that. How you going to get somewhere if you ain't going in that direction?
Yeah, but I like the feeling of being able to do when I'm called to do something or I need to do something, that I can just go and do it. I don't have to second guess of like, what we got to do? We about to drop this engine. Let's fucking go. Come on.
Done.
That's the whole thing, though. And once you cultivate this can-do attitude, then that becomes part of your psyche, part of your way of looking at the world.
Yeah. I'm an achiever. I'm going to be successful. It might take me a while. It might be quick.
It's so crazy, man. Back in the day, there were all these songs about, see, cocaine, dude, you know, it's evil, but cocaine Gave us
Was a
some of the
motivating
greatest
factor.
movies and some of the most interesting music ever created. Because it gave you Push It to the Limit, The Eye of the Tiger, Highway into the Danger Zone. Dude, those 3 songs right there, you put that
White
shit on,
song,
you will
a
be
jam.
fucking motivated to do a lot of shit.
Nigga, I do 100 jumping jacks. Go. Highway to the dangers. Like, look, for the record, I still love Eye of the Tiger. Don't let nobody tell you different. Yeah, I think of Rocky, doing a whole workout montage, my nigga.
Oh, you got a
montage.
montage.
Hold it. That was actually Rocky 2. I think Eye of the Tiger was actually Rocky 2.
It was Rocky 2, yeah.
Yeah.
With Mr. T.
So, yep. No. Mr. T was 3. Apollo
You're
Creed
right.
was the first 2. And then 4 was Dolph Lundgren. And then Tommy Morrison was whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
No, but I brought that up to illustrate the fact that there are exterior things that can motivate you. And it helps. Use whatever you need to motivate yourself, to get yourself into this state of health that's optimal. That includes rigorous exercise. And here's another thing. Getting laid on a regular basis is healthy for you.
Here's another thing is you are not your diagnosis. Just
Right.
because you have something doesn't mean that you are something. I have asthma, but it doesn't mean you are asthma. You might have to take some breathing treatments. You might have to run on certain days. But don't let that diagnosis, I got 2 bolts disc. Hey, I'm still doing shit.
Right.
It hurts. It might be uncomfortable, but it's the fact that I know the only way to get back to where I was is to work at it and not sit here and wallow in self-pity or whatever the fuck I got going on.
There you go. Look, that's all I got. We out. Peace.
Go holla back.